What's going on, guys? Downtown Key West. I've got an amazing guy right here.
Hello. Okay.
He's going to talk to you a little bit about wrestling alligators.
Yes.
He's actually wrestled alligators for like a long time. But you know what? I'm just going to give up the stage for him. Go ahead and listen to this.
Okay, so while I was in college, what I did to earn a living was I wrestled alligators in Orlando for a job. You know, while I first got the job wrestling, handling little alligators and selling pictures to tourists. But when my work got an opportunity to teach me how to gator wrestle, I was like, well, you know, there's only one chance in a lifetime you're going to get to learn how to wrestle alligators. So I said, please teach me how to do this. It was pretty wild. The closest I got to getting bit by an alligator was when I was training. I got trained on an island it's an island, and around were lots of alligators. I actually fell in the water when I was training. When you get off the alligator, you kind of roll off the back, and I wasn't paying attention to where I went, and I fell back first into the water. If you thought that only Jesus could walk on water, you don't even know, because I walked on water. It's a pretty crazy thing, you know. I mean, it was originated by the Miccosukee Indians, where they had to take alligators alive and carry them out of the swamp, because if they killed them while they're in the swamp, the alligators would get rotten by the time they got back to their village. And so, for example, one of the tricks that you learn is to hold the alligator's mouth shut with your chin, and they learned that because they needed two hands to tape the alligator's mouth shut so they could take it back to their village alive. And so that was one of the major things that they learned. That was one of the major times where they learned how to do a gator wrestling trick. They'd hold the mouth shut with their chin and then tape the mouth with their hands, so that would have two hands to do so.
How long have you been doing it for?
I gator wrestled for about a year and a half, and while I was doing gator wrestling shows with 6 to 8 foot alligators, probably, you know, maybe 3 or 4 nights a week, and I would come out and I would grab an alligator by the tail and pull it on land and jump on its back, which, you know, jumping on its back is probably the pretty terrifying thing. My boss actually got bit by an alligator right out, you know, probably a couple months after I learned how to do it. He wasn't paying attention, and the alligator turned and actually bit his elbow in front of a whole crowd of people. And so when they bite, they grab hold and they don't let go. So they actually had to use things called bite ropes, where they use ropes to pry the mouth open, and they had to do that in order to get the alligator, to let this guy's arm out of the alligator's mouth. And so it was a pretty wild thing. You know, the puncture holes were so deep they had to shove iodine and Q-tips like way down inside his inside his wounds. But lucky for me, the only time I got bit by an alligator was with like a 6-inch alligator. It was probably only that big. I was trying to feed it by hand, and it decided that hard dog food looking things was not as nice looking as my finger, so they decided to, he's like, oh, you know, this finger looks better than this dried crock chow is what they call it. So he bit my hand, and I had to pry its mouth open. But again, it was only a 6-inch alligator, so it wasn't too bad.
Were you ever worried about like getting bit before?
Yeah, there were several times that I came close to getting bit by alligators. One time, before we went out on the island to do our gator village, we had to get out there and rake it and make sure there's no alligator poop or anything. And I was trying to get an alligator to get out of my way and get in the water, and so I was kind of tapping its nose, and it reached out and tried to grab me, and luckily I was, you know, a split second faster than the alligator. I was able to pull my hand, but if I had not paid attention, it would have bitten probably about that much of my fingers right off. So it was pretty close. I had a few close calls, but it wasn't too bad.
So anybody out there who wants to wrestle alligators for a living or just for fun, what would you suggest to them?
Well, the first thing would be to not just go out and try it, is to get some official training. But once you do, pay attention to the orientation of your feet. If you have your feet crossed and you have to go backwards, you're gonna trip. So the biggest thing would be to, you know, pay attention to the animal and make sure that you understand the motion of the animal. You can predict the animal's behavior by its, you know, the way that its body is positioned. And so that would be a big thing, is to, you know, make sure that you understand the behavior of the animal.
Cool beans.
Hell yeah.
Well, fantastic. Thanks for talking.
All right, man, for sure.
All right. Alligator hunter right here.